Clionadh is coming out with a brand new palette. This is called Galapagos Archipelago. And it's been a minute since we got a new eyeshadow release from Clionadh, so I'm super excited about this. It's been even longer since we got a palette. It's been over a year. This is a 6-pan palette. It's all shimmers. The pan size is the exact same as their traditional stained glass shadows. All the pans are magnetic. You can remove them with a little spatula or a little magnet. And what we're going to be doing in this video is some detailed swatches, eye swatches, and a look. It will be launching on Tuesday, July 28. I don't have the price, but I will add that as a pinned comment when I have it. You can use a discount affiliate code to save, so I'm going to go ahead and pop mine up on the screen now. And I also want to mention I have so much Clionadh content on my channel at this point, so I'm going to go ahead and link all those videos in the description box. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, the first shade we have in the palette is called Sally Lightfoot Crab. This is what I would describe as kind of like a cranberry toned shade, pinky cranberry. All of the shades in the palette I would say are quite sparkly. All of the shades except for the iridescent have kind of a medium to larger sparkle particle size. And to my eye, they all have chrome shifts. This shade has kind of a peachy orange shift with just a hint of kind of golden yellow. Okay, the next shade we have is called Hammerhead Shark, and this is probably one of my favorite shimmers in the palette. What can I say? It can never resist a blue sparkle. It has what I would describe as a sheer kind of plum brown base, and it's got this really gorgeous blue sparkle throughout. It also has a hint of purple sparkle as well, but blue definitely seems to be what predominates. It's definitely giving a little bit of blue-brown duochrome vibes. It's a gorgeous shade, and I don't think they've done anything like this one before. Next, we have the shade called Giant Tortoise. This is what I would describe as a perfect neutrals with a twist type of shade. It has what I would describe as a kind of warm-toned brown base, maybe just with a hint of olive. And it shifts to a grungy gold green. Extremely sparkly and reflective, really gorgeous one-and-done shade. If you're looking for kind of like an amped up, perfect day-to-day neutral, I think this is a great option. It has what I would describe as a medium sparkle particle size. I also want to mention none of these shades feel flaky to me. All right, next shade we have is an iridescent. I always love when we get an iridescent in a palette. This is the shade called Galapagos Penguin, and it is a little bit smoother in texture compared to the other shades in the palette, and I also do really like that because in general, iridescent shades need to be a little bit more versatile. It's nice to be able to use them on the cheeks, on the inner corner, on the brow bone. This is a particularly beautiful iridescent. It has what I would describe as a primary golden shift, but also a secondary green shift and a hint of orange as well. Again, like all the shades in the palette, very sparkly and definitely one of the shiftier shades in the palette as well. Next, we have the shade called Land Iguana. This is another nice kind of neutrals with a twist type of shade. This is what I would describe as having sort of like burnt orange base, also with a hint of pink. And it has primarily a warm yellow-orange shift to it. Again, like all the shades in the palette, it's quite sparkly. I do think it has a medium to larger sparkle particle size. It's kind of fun guessing what some of these shades would fall under category-wise if they were stained glass shadows. I feel like a bunch of them would fall under the category of glitter vibrant, just based on the textures, the tones, and the shifts of the shades. Okay, last but not least, we have the shade Blue-Footed Booby. And this is probably one of my favorite shades in the palette because I really like the tones of the sparkles. It has what I would describe as a kind of semi-sheer blue base, and it's got gorgeous kind of pink and blue-purple sparkles throughout. This is a shade that makes for a beautiful lid shade if you pack on the pigment. But if you were to just dust the shade in your inner corner or brow bone, it makes for a beautiful highlighting shade as well. It has primarily that pink, blue, and purple shift, but at a harsh angle, you also get a green shift. Here is what all the shades in the palette look like swatched on the back of my hand. I do have to say that for a 6-pan palette, this is quite a versatile selection. You have some more neutral leaning shades, some more colorful ones. an iridescent, and some shades that are a little bit more semi-sheer. And here is what the swatches look like in a different lighting, just so you can appreciate those shifts a little bit better. Okay, now I want to dive into doing a look with the palette, but because this is all shimmers, I'm going to reach into one of their older palette for the mattes. This is the Oceano palette. Here's what it looks like on the inside. I think I'm going to use their Paleo palette as well. As far as I know, they are still selling these palettes. I'm going to reach into this lighter blue shade called Lagoon. Now these mattes are definitely very pigmented. They do have quite a bit of kick up in the pan, so it's something to keep in mind, but they do blend really, really beautifully. But you can see how powdery they are. You know, it may be the kind of thing where you want to do your eyes before your base, but here we are. Sometimes when I have a more powdery matte, it does help if I just kind of like press it into the skin before I blend it, if I want to minimize the fallout. All right, I'm going to clean up the fallout later, but I'm going to dip into Paleo, into this kind of warm-toned matte. This is called Tectonic. And just use that to deepen up that outer corner. I may not be able to incorporate all of the shimmers in my look, and that's okay because at least I was able to do eye swatches of all of them. I'm just going to go in with those same shades along the lower lash line as well. All right, now I want to go in with this deeper blue toned matte. This is like a deep navy blue and it's called Undertow. And I'm just going to deepen up that outer corner a little bit. Like work that into that brown matte that I have down just to add a little bit of depth. All right, and I think the last matte I'm going to use before going in with my shimmers is this gorgeous coral tone matte called Starfish. I'm going to use this kind of generously on the inner corner just to add some brightness. All right, I think I'm actually going to use one more matte. I'm going to go in with Archipelago, which is this olive tone matte. And I'm just going to put a little bit of that on the brow bone. Oh, that is a really, really nice olive tone matte. Sometimes these olive tone mattes don't do much on my skin tone. They're just not pigmented enough, but not this one. All right, now I'm going to take a little bit of the Clionadh Embed to the Brow Shimmer Primer, pop that all over the lid. Let's go ahead and play with some shimmers. I'm going to start off with Hammerhead Shark. I knew when I saw this one swatched that I wanted to incorporate it into my look. Again, I just can't resist a blue sparkle, and I feel like it's going to go well with the blue that I have on kind of the inner portion of the lid. I'm just going to pop that with my fingertip on the inner portion. It does have a little bit of sheerness to it as well, so it will look different depending on the mattes that you layer it over. So because I'm layering it over a blue matte, it really, really brings out the blue in that shade. Okay, and the next shade I want to use is Giant Tortoise. This is one that has more of a neutral base with more of a gold green shaft. Here is what it looks like swatched. Just going to, again, apply that with my finger and blend that in to the mattes. Alright, I do want to play around with a few more shimmers. I want to use as many as I can. I'm going to go in with Land Iguana, and I think what I want to do is apply that to the brow bone just kind of sheerly. So I picked it up with more of a fluffy brush and am just kind of like patting that on to the brow bone. Has kind of a pretty red sparkle in it, and it kind of just goes well with the warmer toned olive that I have on the brow bone. On the inner corner, I'm going to use the shade Blue Footed Booby. And, you know, it has this really pretty pink sparkle, and I'm going to use a smaller brush because I want to just apply a kind of more concentrated amount in a smaller area. That's really pretty. Hopefully that's picking up on camera. It has kind of like a blue-purple sparkle in it. All right, and last but not least, I'm going to use this iridescent shade called Galapagos Penguin. I do feel like I probably have to be, ooh, yes, this is pretty pigmented. So I'm going to go in with a little bit lighter hand, but oh, that is so pretty. And here is the final look. All right, now that I've had a chance to do some detailed swatches, eye swatches, and a look, I want to go ahead and close up with some wrap-up thoughts. So at the time that I'm making this video, this will be launching on Tuesday, July 28th, and I have not seen a price announced quite yet, but I will add the details in a pinned comment. These pans are the same size as their traditional stained glass shadows, so love to see that, and they are very easy to take in and out of the palette. I think that this is a super cute palette, and it's definitely one that I do plan to travel with and will definitely be getting a lot of use out of. I like that they have some shades in here that are neutrals with a twist, and they have ones that are a little bit more colorful. Nothing that's super colorful, but all of these shades I would characterize as being high impact and being chromes. One thing I do want to mention is that, you know, I will say that for Clionadh shadows in terms of texture, these are a little bit more on the textured side with the exception of the iridescent. So the particle size in these other 5 shades is a little bit more on the larger side. So it's definitely shades that you would want to probably use with some type of primer to minimize fallout. And it's also just something I want to mention because people will ask me in the comments about texture and, you know, may not prefer more textured shadows. So it is just something to keep in mind because I would say that 5 of the shadows are a little bit more on the textured side. They're not the type that will probably crease on you. Like these are all a drier formula, which I think is, you know, characteristic of the Clionadh shadows. So, you know, if you know and love a lot of the stained glass shadows, even ones with the larger sparkle particle size, then I think that these are on par with that. But I do want to mention that, just in case. I have not heard that these shadows will be available individually, but typically down the road, Clionadh will release these shadows individually, but it can take some time. So if you are interested maybe only in 1 or 2 shades, I would just give it time because more than likely I would anticipate that these will eventually be singles. Now I would love to hear what you think of the palette. What's your favorite shade? I am excited for a smaller launch from the brand, and it's just been a while since they released something, particularly eyeshadow wise. Let me know in the comments, and if you made it to the end of my video, leave me some type of island emoji. As always, I really hope you found my video helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.